everybody. Right now, you are checking out YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Hey Brave, how's everything going?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time out to do the interview. We definitely appreciate it.
No, it's all love. It's all good. No worries. I thank you so much for supporting the video and, for wanting to know more. I appreciate that.
Oh, for sure. So, I want to take it back a little bit. Talk to me about how you were originally discovered by Rich Harrison and how you guys linked up.
Ultimately, I was signed to Rich when I was 16 as a solo artist. He found me at an open mic place where I was doing my poetry and I was rapping. And what's crazy is before I met with him is when I just kind of discovered that I could sing.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fairly new. But we ended up working on a project together, and we decided to go separate ways. And then I went to LA and ran back into him with the idea of with Rich Girl. And then we kind of just, spearheaded the group and, found the members, and, the rest is history.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about your first project that you were working on. I read that the song Crazy in Love, which we now know as a Beyonce song, was originally intended for you, right?
This is true. This is very true. When he first played me the track, I just, went crazy, and I was like, this is it. This is the winner, banger, da-da-da. But that was, like I said, very early on when, I guess as we worked together, I was premature in terms of my vocal ability. So once we decided to go separate ways, so did the track, and obviously we hear it. I heard it several months later, placed on her. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of talk to me about Rich Girl, because I know Rich approached you with the idea of joining the group. Talk to me a little bit about that decision to work with him again, and number two, if you felt initially that joining a group was a step back for your career.
Well, Rich Girl, when we first came up with the idea in terms of a girl group, I was completely comfortable because I knew that there were certain, because we were building the group around me,
Yeah.
I knew that there was certain criteria that each member had to have. So knowing that each girl had to be able to sing, each girl had to look a certain way, each girl had to be able to know how to dance, I never once thought it was a step back because I was in an environment where I could constantly be growing. And I knew that if every girl could hold her own, then in my mind, especially at the time, then we would be destined for greatness. I came up with the name of the group and kind of like our creed and what I really wanted the group to represent. So it was never really an uncomfortable moment. I never thought that it would ever hurt. If anything, like I said, it would just help make me grow as an artist and become more developed being around such talented vocalists.
Okay, and you guys released a couple of singles throughout the years, but eventually, things just didn't work out. You guys never got a chance to come up with an album. Why do you feel like that whole situation didn't work out?
Well, as you grow, people change. Minds change. People's intentions change in terms of, what they later on want as opposed to what they wanted from the beginning. So I kind of just feel like we kind of just grew, not so much grew apart because I still love them to death. Like I talk to my girls frequently, but in terms of their own personal drive, certain things just changed. In terms of the album, excuse me, I feel like I'm getting sick. In terms of the album, we were recording so much, so we definitely had the material to create an album, but it just never manifested. I made sure though that before we decided to disband, that we did put out a mixtape, so at least there was a body of work that we could look back and say, okay, well, something did release. Granted, it wasn't an album, but it was still a body of work. So I was able to leave the situation okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, was, I guess the breakup of Rich Girl, was it a collective decision, or, talk to me a little bit about that?
It was a collective decision after a certain point. we just kind of decided that once, Seven wanted to pursue her writing full time, that it was just kind of best to, I guess, gracefully, bow out. And like I said, we all, keep in contact with each other. Those are my girls. I love them to death. But just in terms of the group, we just decided that, it was time to just, I guess, focus our energy on something different.
Yeah. And then, you're back again as a solo artist. Was there ever a period for you where you felt like, because I know it didn't work out for you back in the day when you originally signed with Rich, and then it didn't work again with Rich Girl. Was there ever a point where you felt like music wasn't for you anymore?
There were moments where I second guessed. Well, see, a lot of my second guessing came after I lost my manager.
Okay.
2011 was a really tough year because that's when I lost my father, and then the group disbanded, and then I lost my manager. So after losing him, I went through the mourning phase of, the uncertainty. But once I came out of it, which is why that really was the inspiration behind Break Me Down, it was like, okay, Brave, you cannot let this destroy you. You have, it's kind of like you have these one-on-one conversations with yourself. It's like, you have the talent, you know what it's going to take, because I was blessed with the group, and I was able to see firsthand what really goes into breaking an artist. I just had to, I had to just get myself together and just know that I'm in it for the long haul. So, my uncertainty moments, those moments came after I lost my manager, but through that, I wrote some really great songs and got some really great material, which kind of spearheaded me knowing that, I can't give up.
Yeah. And, you have the new song, Break Me Down, out. Talk to me a little bit about how that song came about and, what the creative process was like for that song.
Like I said, Break Me Down came at the moment when I was probably at a very low point, because I wrote that song after I lost my manager, and I was kind of coming out of the mourning, and it was just completely inspired by the tragic things that had happened, throughout the beginning of the year, from losing my dad, losing the group, and losing my manager. But I was coming from a place of inspiration, like, okay, I cannot be broken down by this. Like, if I give up, then I've been defeated. And I just made a decision with myself that I will not be defeated until I decide that I don't want to do music anymore. Not because of these, circumstantial things that I experienced. So that song really just came from a place of inspiration. I just really needed to pull myself up. And I remember when I wrote it, it just felt like I had just relieved so much of whatever pain or whatever hurt I was feeling. And I was like, okay, you know what? F it. I can do this. You can do this. So, that's kind of where the inspiration for that song came from.
Oh, okay. And I noticed that you're rapping on this song, something we saw a little bit in Rich Girl. Is this something that we'll be hearing on a regular basis from your music, or, talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, my first love, I'm a poet, and I'm a lyricist first. So the album and the EP and the next songs will be a hybrid of both, because I sing as well.
Yeah.
So some songs may be all singing, and the third verse might be a rap, or the verses might be rapping where the hook is singing. So it'll definitely be a combination of both.
Oh, okay. And what kind of sound are you going for with your solo project, and how is it going to differ from Rich Girl?
Well, like I said, the rapping will be very prominent because that is my first love. I call it gritty pop.
Okay.
That's what I call it. That's the difference between the group. It's like it will be gritty pop. The tracks might be really hard sounding, but then I might be singing a ballad. But then the hard sound will complement the rhyme that I spit on the last 16 bars. So it's kind of just really a hybrid of something new and something different.
Okay. And with Rich Girl, what is one thing that you learned from that era that will help you succeed now?
Wow, I learned so much. You have to be in control of your team. I learned that managing your team is very important, even though you have managers that are quote unquote there to manage you. But when you are a business and when you have people in place to do X and Y, it's still up to the artist to make sure that everything is executed properly.
Okay, and one thing that I always found interesting with Rich Girl is that even though you guys didn't get a chance to come out with an album, you guys always had a huge following. So have you felt like your fans have stuck by you with your solo career so far?
Absolutely. The responses are amazing with Break Me Down. It's quite shocking, honestly. And I really, that's another reason why I wanted to release Break Me Down first, because I knew specifically this was for the fans that held me down that year when I was, last year when I was really just going through it. And they, were so supportive and sending flowers. I don't know how they found addresses and, hotel rooms and sending cards and just telling me, stay strong, we love you, we're here for you, when it's your time. So, yeah, that song was definitely for them, and they definitely played a huge role in me saying, okay, I can come back and do this.
Yeah, definitely. So, I just wanted to ask you, just to wrap everything up, what's next for you as far as, are you going to be putting out an EP or an album anytime soon?
Yes. Well, right now I'm just really just doing, strategically working, just collecting an arsenal of work from songs to videos, but the grand scheme is to release an EP called Brave New World. So that's something to definitely look out for.
Okay, cool. And, that's all that I had for you. Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Just to everyone that supported, who held me down last year, and who's continuing to hold me down with Break Me Down, I love you.